We'll be live. Hello.
Hello.
Hi everyone. People in the live chat. Oh, let me make sure I put my phone so I can see that people in the live chat on my phone as well. There we go. Atheist Republic. Okay, guys. First, before we start covering what has happened in the world of religion and all sorts of other nonsense around the world, let's take a time to congratulate Susanna for 4th year anniversary.
Oh,
Yes, guys, tell in the live chat. Susanna has been with Atheist Republic for 4 years. The anniversary was, I think, 2 days ago. Did you see all the? I posted something on the community tab about this. Did you see the comments? People were congratulating you, and people were
yeah, it was
saying how
really
awesome you
sweet.
are.
It
Yeah,
made me
people.
emotional and very appreciated, which was
Oh,
meaningful. So thank you.
oh. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the people who left a comment because, I was hoping people leave a lot of comments and they did. So thank you for that. And people in the live chat are also saying for congratulations and everything. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yes,
That's
thank
very
you.
sweet. Yeah. Make sure you like the stream today. Other than the news items that we're going to comment on, which are very interesting, we at the end of it, Susanna had the idea for us to show just a little bit of what videos are going to watch at the end. Tell
Okay,
them.
well, because here's the thing. Last week, if you guys are watching, you would know that we were waiting in anticipation over news of the whereabouts and the well-being of one man in particular. And that man was the Butcher of Tehran, known as President Ibrahim Raisi. The president of the Islamic Republic went missing in a helicopter, and we didn't know what happened to him. I saw the funniest joke, and this comes from Persian Twitter, and they said that this is the only helicopter crash in the world where everyone is worried that the parties survived.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, you're right. Usually when there's an accident happening, everyone is like,
Yeah.
please, God, or whatever, do something. I hope they survive. But now this was up. Has there ever been anything like this where like so many people around the world, please, no survivals, please,
I
anything.
don't know.
There were, you know what, in around and within our atheist community, right? So a lot of people don't believe in God, and they're like, I haven't prayed for such a long time, but that was the day that we stopped being an atheist for one day. A lot of people in Iran who were atheists went back to praying that nobody in the helicopter survived. And they were telling me, like, Armin, I don't know, our prayers have been answered. Maybe we should look into this atheist thing. Maybe we should reconsider.
The only time my prayers have ever been answered. Otherwise, they were ignored. But this was a big one, so it might tip the scales.
Right.
Anyways, so
I was live on air when they announced that he's dead on the Persian channel. Yeah, like we were
really?
like second by second, we were watching the updates. And I went live on the Persian channel on such a good time because we were on air. Like I was like, people were like, Armin, he's dead, because the images were like showing that there's no, everything was cold, like there was no hot bodies from the chat. Like I don't know what tools they were using. I'm like, I don't trust these tools right now. I don't know how reliable it is until somebody gets there. He's not that. He was like Schrodinger's Racy, right? Like until you look into the helicopter, Ibrahim Raisi is still alive and dead at the same time. You have to actually open the helicopter for him to be. It was like a superposition Raisi, right? So they got there, and then they saw the body, and we were live on air, and he was announced dead, and we were like cheering. There were so many people cheering. People were congratulating each other. It was crazy. It was insane. Yeah. So we have some videos of celebrations, just a few at the end to show you guys.
Yeah,
just
some
to see
memes.
what the
Some funny memes, including an Can we watch this animation I sent you as long as you translate it?
Yeah, I will. At the end.
As
At the end.
of
By the
Raisi.
way,
So we also
there.
have a humorous animation of Raisi in hell, meaning Khomeini again. I'm so excited.
Wait, God, Angel donated 100. Guys, I forgot to turn off the donation so people could use super chats. Sorry, guys. I will like for some reason the donation is on, but Angel gave us $100 donation. Well,
Oh,
thank you so much. I will turn off the donation so we could get super chats so I can see them.
oh my
Thank you
goodness.
so
Thank you,
much.
Angel.
Yes. So I
You
just
know,
turned it off.
it might
The
have been
super chat
Angel
function should be on.
that tipped the scales of that helicopter. The wings
Yes.
of an angel. The wings of an angel came and just nicked the edge of those helicopter rotors. And it went spinning.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much. So I know it's not a super chat, so I can't highlight it, but that's the downside. Now the super chat is back on, so now people can use super chats during the stream. Okay. However, the benefit, the downside to donation is that it doesn't get highlighted, but the benefit is that every single cent of it gets to us, right? Like that $100, nothing of that goes to YouTube. Every single cent gets to us. So thank you so much, Angel, for that. Yeah.
Seriously,
No
it's
share.
ridiculous.
Nothing for you, YouTube. Nothing for you. That's all ours.
I know. This is
Yes.
we have to balance it with actually being able to have super chats though, because people love super chats so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, guys, we could actually turn on donations and we will get more, but we choose to use super chats instead of donations because there's just so much more fun. Like you could put a comment on it, we could highlight it. So we're losing a lot of, the donation just because we want to have fun with our community. Yeah. So, but yeah, so today, what kind of news we're reviewing today? Like, are we doing sad? Are
No,
we
we
doing
actually have like
wholesome?
no tragic news today. To be honest, it's pretty light today, which is nice.
Right.
It's nice to have a lighter episode.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. It's such a celebratory kind of vibe today. I didn't want to ruin it with bad news. So what countries are we covering?
The UK, Iran, Malaysia, Turkey, and did I already Lebanon? I did not say Lebanon. Yeah, switching it up a little
Lebanon.
bit. We haven't covered a few of these places in a while.
Yes. We need to actively pay more attention to Europe these days. So I'm glad that we're starting with the UK because things are not looking good over there when it comes to religion wise. So we need to pay special attention to what's happening in Europe. All right. So is it clappable? Is the first news clappable?
Yeah. Oh, the first news is just going to be us dunking on some Dawa boys, which is always fun.
All right, good. First news.
The vile way a UK Muslim charity shamed women who don't wear hijab. A newly registered Islamic charity in the United Kingdom, the One True Message Foundation, or OTMF, is under fire for a viral video comparing women who don't wear hijab to unwrapped sweets, sparking outrage online. In the video, OTMF trustee Faisal Karani states, "I have two sweets, yet one, I open the wrapper and I throw it on the floor, yeah, and I tread on it a little bit." I'm trying to do a bad accent. The other one, I leave it in the wrapper and I throw it on the floor and I tread on it. One's in the wrapper, one's not, okay? I pick up them both and I say, "Take one. Which one are you going to choose?" And then the person goes like, "Well, the one with the wrapper." And he's like, "Case closed. Case closed." The National Secular Society and other campaigners have called for the Charity Commission to revoke OTMF's charitable status, with National Secular Society campaigns officer Alejandro Sanchez condemning the video as deeply misogynistic, stating, quote, "The law as currently implemented allows charities registered under the advancement of religion to spread misogyny with impunity." Miriam Namazi of the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain added, "This is exactly why modesty culture is an extension of RAPE culture. It always blames the victim, never the perpetrator." So, we actually have the video this pulls from, and then I can give a little bit more context about what's going on. Or should I give context first and then I can, because I feel like if we watch the video, we're going to dive into his statements,
Okay,
right away.
context first.
Okay, so a little bit of context is this is a newly registered charity in the United Kingdom. I can't remember how new, but fairly new. And the One True Message Foundation is actually an extension of One True Message, which is a YouTube channel, which has 507,000 followers on YouTube. So this is a Dawa YouTube channel that has 500,000 subscribers. They're very big, obviously. This has to put them amongst some of the biggest channels in English speaking like Muslim channels. And basically, yeah, the lollipop thing, well, we're gonna dive into it. Because I've obviously heard this comparison before. Even some Christians and Mormons use similar analogies.
I've been hearing this since childhood.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't actually heard this comparison before. So some of their Dawa videos have been circulating online and been getting a little bit of a little bit of reactions, because people are like, wait, hold up. Like there was one video that I went down a rabbit hole of watching them last night, which is just not good to do before you go to sleep. And like they have a video, doing the classic promoting the amputation of limbs, amputation of hands as oh my God, Hassan Radwan. Hello. Oh my God, live and in the flesh. What an honor. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Anyways, what was I saying? They were doing promoting amputation of hands. It's like, oh yeah, well, obviously societies that have amputations of hands have just so much better are so much better in terms of crime than ones that don't. Obviously, people and a lot of videos of them converting a lot of people to Islam just straight up on the sidewalk. And what I was saying was to Armin before the show started, I don't know like how real it is, but they seem to be having a lot of success of just people taking the Shahada just straight up on the sidewalks of London, which kind of surprised me. Mainly just in the sense of just a sidewalk conversion. You just walk up and you're like, nope, you're right. This is it. I'm in right now. Let's do it. But anyways, should we get into the video?
Yeah, we should get into the video, but I just want to say that this argument is actually very convincing. Okay, that's why I also keep my wife in the fridge, right? Because I mean, why just do lollipops, right? Why not milk, for example? Like, if do you keep your milk outside of the fridge or inside of the fridge? If you keep your milk outside of the fridge for one day, what happens to your milk? Obviously, it will go bad. Case closed. Keep your wives inside your fridge. Done.
You're done now.
Yes. Anyways, let's go to the right.
In New York City, there's a woman, all she wore was a t-shirt and some leggings. She was abused in 1 hour of walking over 100 times in an hour. The same woman done the same walk in the same street for the same amount of time, 1 hour, and she put a hijab on and an abaya. Not a single person bothered her. So it's like this, look, I have two...
Don't lie what you're saying.
I have two sweets, yeah? One, I open the wrapper and I throw it on the floor, yeah? And I tread on it a little bit. The other one I leave in the wrapper and I throw it on the floor and I tread on it. One's in the wrapper, one's not. I pick both of them up and I say, take one. Which one are you going to choose?
The one with the wrap. Okay.
Yeah, so this video was actually removed. So this is the best footage we can find of it.
Right. Here's the thing though. This is kind of, people are like, oh, this is so insulting to women. Okay. it is insulting to women, but it's more insulting to men, I think, isn't it? I'm offended as a man. I'm offended on behalf of you other men in the live chat as well, because look at who's the woman in this picture. Okay, what's representative of woman? It's the lollipop. Okay, I mean, it's kind of like it's insulting because you're comparing women to a commodity, to a good that you buy and sell, but lollipops are sweet. At least they're sweet. Okay, like it's kind of but look at who are the men in this picture? Who are the men? Okay,
and dirt,
flies,
grime on the
this
floor.
Yes, we're being compared to flies and dirt. So this is more actually insulting to men. Like you're like, yeah, I don't like this. Yeah.
How does it feel to be the grime stuck on a lollipop?
Yes.
Armin.
I mean, last time I checked, once women, when we have sex with women, there's nothing gets reduced from the woman. Okay, like I don't know how the rest of you are having sex. Okay, but when flies eat the lollipop, there's not much left. When it's on the floor, there's nothing you could do with it anymore. You have to throw it away. Okay, but when men have sex with women, there's nothing reduced from the woman. In fact, if it was a good experience, there's something added to her. She has now more experience, something pleasurable to take to something, a good experience, a good memory, right? So there's like this is the mentality that if women are like products that you use, and now there's something less of it remaining. But I don't what has been taken away from you after sex? I don't understand this.
Yeah. Right? No, and a lot of red pill dudes make similar arguments, except they compare it to a car. And if you would rather buy a new car or a used car, because cars depreciate in value the more that you use them, which I actually think is so funny, because from a financial perspective, unless you are above a certain threshold, it's actually extremely financially unwise to buy a brand new car unless your net worth is at a certain level, because it's a depreciating asset. You actually should be buying a used car most of the time. So I just, that's just a side note.
That's a good point
that I thought recently, because I've been getting into personal finance. I'm like, actually buying the new car for most people is going to be a really like detrimental financial decision in terms of wealth building, but that's besides the point.
Right.
But okay, here's the thing. I think what's really and Armin, I think you should speak to like how you grew up with this narrative from being a very early age, because there are other, like I was saying, I've heard Christians use similar analogies, and the problem is that it goes back to being very, very centrally tied in purity culture. And basically, like, as someone who, within my own personal life, being raised in a religious environment, like purity culture was incredibly, incredibly, incredibly damaging to myself. Like Armin knows this probably better than anyone else, like how much that like harmed me psychologically, because of how much of your self-worth becomes tied up in the like purity that you can practice or present, because it's really something that is held up in the eyes of the community, right? And it's so damaging to women, because it basically teaches you that you are worthy only as long as you are pure and untouched, in whatever standards that is within that community, right? Because some standards can shift, depending on the community, right? And this means that essentially women who are not covering and not being modest, regardless of if they are engaging in anything else at all, they are seen as whores, because they are not covering that which can cause temptation. So they're basically showing their nakedness. Like women who wore the hijab for extended periods of time will tell you that sometimes after they take it off, they feel as if they're naked. Or we have our friend Deborah, who was in a fundamentalist Islamist group for I think like 12 years. And when she decided to leave her husband and took it off, her husband accused her of walking around naked when he like saw her getting in and out of a car without hijab on, and like that was it. And what people don't understand about hyper modesty culture is they think that because a lot of the argumentation is that this is actually more dignified for women because Western culture apparently loves to sexualize women in every capacity. Sometimes that's true, but the problem is that people don't understand that when you have a hyper modesty culture, you would think that, oh, well, because you're covering so much, it's actually less sexualized. But people need to understand that it's actually usually involves a degree of hypersexualization. Because when you are so focused on covering and modesty, then the slightest uncovering is now seen as incredibly sexual. So I can see this in other communities as well. I've watched videos of Mormons, ex-Mormons, talking about how because of the intensity of the modesty culture in Mormon society, when they would see wrists and ankles of women, they would feel like it's so sexual, like potently sexual to see a woman's wrists, because of how intense the modesty culture is that sends the message that you must be covered because your skin is so tempting, so sexual, so unclean in a sense, because it causes these thoughts. I don't know if am I making myself like clear with what I'm trying to explain?
Yes.
But then you go to other societies where they don't have these standards, and men and women are walking around in various levels of being uncovered, and you will find that society has not fallen into chaos. So like it really is about relative standards. Because in societies where it's normal to be in whatever state of undress, if you want to call it that, the entire society has not fallen into chaos and fitna. Like, it's normal to them. And which, I don't know, I think about books like Ayaan Hirsi Ali's Infidel, when she talks about when she moved to the West and she saw men and women just walking around holding hands and interacting as normal after living in a highly sex segregated society, and being shocked that the entire world like wasn't just on fire. Because she's like, wait, we can just have these normal interactions and it's not going to cause the entire world to fall into disharmony. This is exactly the opposite of what has been preached to me in my entire life.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw this super chat from Shuvo. Thank you for the super chat, Shuvo. For all my homies out there with them sexy ankles. Okay.
All right. I have some opinions that a lot of you are not going to like. Should I say them? Do you guys want to hear
let's
it?
get into it. I'm excited now.
All right. So first of all, I don't have any problem with sexualizing people. I don't even think that you need to sexualize people. People are sexual, right? So it's the problem happens for me if you don't see them as only sexual, not if you see them as sexual, right? We are mammals and we have sex and we enjoy other humans' sexuality, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you just reduce somebody to their sexuality and nothing else, that's the problem. But seeing other humans as sexual beings that, we enjoy each other sexually, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? So first of all, that's that out of the way. Also, here's something that, a lot of ex-Muslims might not like. I think it might actually be true. Might be actually true. I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. If hijab does reduce the number of people who come and harass you. Okay. I know there's going to be many examples of people who have been harassed even while wearing the hijab. So, but the point is that it's not going to eliminate it, but it might actually reduce it. So why am I still anti-hijab? given that it might actually reduce it, right? Because the point is, where does the responsibility lie? Like, it's true that you have some responsibility in protecting yourself, but we want to live in a society where you get to live comfortable lives, and a lot of that protection and security is on the society's shoulders, not on your personal, on the way you live, on you personally, right? It's true that you have to take some measures, but where's the line? So, for example, I do agree that if you wear the hijab, you might get abused less. However, I also agree that if you wear a metal armor, right, you will get abused probably even less. And maybe wear a metal armor and carry a sword, right? I'm sure a woman who wears a metal armor and carries a sword, will get abused or harassed less often than one doesn't, right? So I would ask a Muslim who says that wear a hijab so he gets harassed less. Would I like, okay, why not? Why not go? Why not? Well, just a hijab. Let's go even more secure. Even if it's hot, even if it's under the sun, women must wear a metal armor and carry a sword wherever they go. And if you, as a Muslim, say, well, that's too much, so then you agree with the principle that there's a line. There is a line where we cannot ask people to do everything to protect themselves, and the responsibility is on society to provide that security, and you should be able to live convenient lives where you get to choose what you wear yourself, what you are happy with, and this is basically kind of negotiating with terrorists. Like, just because people who harass you and abuse you are a threat, you shouldn't have to change the way you live to give in to their threat. It's the government, it's the police that has to stop them, so you get to wear whatever you want to wear. It's not you that you have to change your life. It's the government that has to stop them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're basically arguing that you're like, okay, let's assume that we're giving the hypothetical that there might be
Right.
some reduction in harassment if you do dress more modestly. Let's just assume that that's true for the sake of
Right.
argument. Even if that was true, that doesn't make it okay. That shouldn't
Right.
be upon the responsibility of the
Yes.
individual to avoid
Right.
harassment. There should be
Yes.
mechanisms within the society that protect the vulnerable from harassment or physical assault.
I shouldn't give away my right to be able to wear what I want, to be able to feel the sun on my skin, to feel the wind in my hair, to also be sexually attractive if I want, or not to be if I don't want, right? I shouldn't give all of these away because there's a threat. Okay, because if that's the case, then why would we even have a police or an army? Everyone in security will be their own personal responsibility. We give the responsibility to security, to the police, to the army, so that we could live the lives that we want.
I don't even think it necessarily has to be explicitly about the state and the police, though, because, and I'm gonna summarize this very poorly, because I'm not familiar with this in depth, so forgive me for people who are more familiar if I'm wrong. But basically, Camille Paglia has a very interesting argument where basically, the majority of feminist thinkers would say that basically society is patriarchal and that is an oppressive system for women. And this is like a gene within the society itself. But Paglia kind of flips it on its head and says that actually it is society that civilizes and protects women from barbarity.
Yes.
And so it's not actually that society is patriarchal and that is the oppressive force within upon women. It's that society is actually the protector of women. And I want to read her sources on this in more depth because I haven't. So if someone's more familiar and I got that completely wrong, my apologies. But I think it's a really interesting concept that I've been chewing over because, especially as a woman, like, you have no idea how hyper aware I am at all times that my safety is dependent upon the goodwill and mercy of any given man that I am surrounded by. At the same time, though, the vast, 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 vast majority of experiences of my life with men who are strangers to me have been positive, and I've been protected from any of their own bad behavior. The vast, 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 vast majority of the experiences of my life. That doesn't mean I don't sometimes feel threatened. That doesn't mean that I sometimes don't feel worried about what could happen in any given situation. But even in those instances of feeling of threat and of feeling worried, which do happen, on consistent enough basis, even so, the vast, vast, vast majority of even those experiences, and I'm completely fine. So I don't know if my point is entirely clear, but I'm saying that it is actually like a marker of the society to the extent to which it is reflective of the positive nature of the men within my society, that I am protected and stay safe in the, with the exception of maybe a few, like a tiny amount of experiences in my life. But besides that,
yeah, I mean,
they have been primarily positive. And I think that should be the litmus test. To what extent does the society protect women from barbarity?
Yeah, I mean, that's true with all things security related. It's always a very small minority that ruin everything for the rest of us. But the problem is that it doesn't take much to cause instability, chaos, and insecurity. Like if it goes, we need that number to be less than, just making one, a small fraction of 1%. Because if it gets to 1%, that's just too much, right? Because society relies on many people abiding by the laws, because even a small fraction could cause a lot of chaos. So yeah, so we need both. We need a lot of good people, but we also need force. Like it's a mix of both.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that the force of the state can only be present in a minority of interactions.
Yes. So
usually
it's a
by
mix
the
of
time
both.
that's
The
called
solution,
upon, something has already happened.
yes, so it's a mix of both. So it's a mix of force, but also high numbers of people who are not like that. Yeah, but I agree. It's a cultural thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and a huge part of that is there an attitude that, dependent on how a woman is dressed, she's essentially asking for it or not? Is that a widely held belief or not?
Yeah, so it's interesting because
cultures that have in countries where promote modesty, the idea is it goes back into our APE culture.
Yes,
it's like how modest she is.
Let me make this point. Let me make this point. In societies where you have more hijab, you also have more RIPE, but this is not because the hijab necessarily doesn't work. It's because the main influencer, as Susanna mentioned, is the culture, right? So if you want to protect women, you need to have a superior culture instead of wrapping women. You could see that even if hijab was and had an influence on reducing RAPE, the difference in culture has such a higher impact that in countries without hijab, you have less RAPE than in countries that have hijab, because the culture is not what you need to fix, not what your women wear. So yeah, you're right. Actually, it's security. So I mentioned police and security, but the main difference maker is the way what people think and their culture and their values. That's actually more important than even security. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, totally. Because in countries where it is more common for women to be very, very covered, like you still see a high degree of harassment and assault, depending on if it's a what's the idea that I'm trying to express? Well, there's always going to be people that are opportunistic to do horrible things if given the possibility.
Yeah.
But what was your experience of like being raised with this kind of propaganda when you were a kid, Armin?
Well, I mean, I was raised with a completely polar world. I was like, when you go to school and turn on the TV, everything is pro-Islamic, pro-hijab, like Islamic standards and rules. And you come home and it's the exact opposite of that, right? And it's not only it's opposite of that, it's aggressively opposite of that. Anti-Islamic, anti-religion, anti-hijab, anti-mullahs, anti-everything that. So a lot of Iranians grew up in that two completely aggressively opposite worlds. You go to work or you go to school, and it's just like Islam, 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 and you come home, and your parents are the complete opposite of it. Like that's not everyone's experience, but that's a lot of people's experience, right? And that's why a lot of people become political in Iran from early age, because they see two different ideologies from early childhood that they're both exposed to, and two aggressively opposite of ideologies that are fighting each other. So you understand that because if you're born in an environment that everybody's saying the same thing, you just go with the flow. But now that you're born in an environment where there's two competing aggressively opposite ideologies, you're like, okay, you become aware of different narratives, and you also become aware of the different arguments on the other side, and you become extremely political from childhood, because either you have to pick a side, right? And then you have to be very aggressively against the other side. So yeah, I mean, when I went to school, you had all this propaganda, and I guess the propaganda with regards to hijab, because boys and girls were different, and we didn't hear much about hijab in our school. I think like the whole points of hijab propaganda were mostly heavy in girls' school, like but we didn't hear much about hijab in our upbringing, because we were completely separate from the girls.
Wait, this just reminded me about some propaganda that the Iranian regime put out like last year. Do you remember this? And it was targeting not women, but it was targeting men who let their wives go out without being entirely covered. Like men that let their wives leave the house without chador. And it was showing like a couple's portrait, right? Like a classic couple's portrait, except the man just was a potato.
Let me see. If I could find it. I hope I could find it, because
just
I did find it.
The potato husband was so funny to me. Like, and I guess the message is that a man that doesn't have that honor, he doesn't have that. Well, we don't have a perfect translation for the word in English, but what it's
on a billboard.
Jealous zeal is kind of how we translate girat, which I can't pronounce right, but the potato husband. Look at this impotent husband. Look, she's even wearing the hijab. It's just not like the
This chador. Is on a billboard in a city. So this is the actual image, right? So like is comparing the man who's letting his wife to come out like that with makeup and her hair showing. So like you're like, oh, you don't care. You're like a potato. But like they actually, ahsantum, what the hell is this? So he's saying like, good job, because he is a good man. he's making sure that his wife is fully covered. But this is obviously not a good husband. He's a
Potato husband? Question mark.
Oh yeah, there's a question mark. Oh, so this okay, this yellow parts is not part of the not part of the billboard. Somebody added this.
Oh, okay.
The yellow, yeah. So somebody, this is like somebody, some Arab person added this to the bill. The billboard is Iranian. Some Arab person took a picture of the billboard and added this yellow font on top of it. Right.
Oh my god. Love the potato husband. My king. my king, Mr. Potato. The last thing I wanted to say on this story was that this is part of the reason why I get so disgusted when little girls that are children are wearing hijab. Because this is what you're teaching them. And again, it's highly sexualizing. It's highly sexualizing, and it's gross. Armin, do you remember that one time we were traveling and we saw like a family and there was like a tiny girl, like 6 years old, probably, and like another daughter, like 7 years old, and they were all wearing the hijab, like all.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember how strongly I reacted to that?
Yes, I was like, oh my god, Susie, calm down.
It just really makes me upset. There's this one
really
girl
upset
who's
at
like,
you. I remember that.
Yeah, there was this one girl who's like an influencer in Indonesia and is literally a 2 or 3 year old girl, and her parents cover her entirely in the niqab.
Yes.
It's so freaky. It's so freaky.
Here's a very important argument. I want you to pay attention to this, okay? So a lot of people are sexually attracted to hijab, right? So what is a woman to do? If you see a man that is sexually attracted to hijab, is the Islamic way to take off your hijab? If you come in front of that person, like, what are you supposed to do? Because if the whole point of hijab is to reduce sexual attraction, then Islamically, if you know that the man that you're in front of is attracted to hijab, then you should take it off. Maybe go fully naked. Huh? What do you think? So somebody
we have a point. We also got a super chat from Bar Mustel. Thank you for the shekels, saying Muhammad Blibbity Bop, women are candy nonstop. We also got a comment from Mugiwara Luffy saying, Armin, any comment about the attack on Iranians by Islamists in the UK? I actually want to cover that in a story next week.
I was going to say, are we going to cover that? That's all. That's the only reason next week, guys, we're going to cover this.
I almost wanted to cover it this week, but there wasn't enough information out yet. There were just these videos, and now there's more information, so I feel comfortable covering it. And Venus commented saying 146 watching, yet only 93 likes. Come on, fellow Armenians. Stop being lazy. Get your tush to that like button. You took us.
Well,
took us on the like button.
There's 555 people watching, most of them on Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter. I'm not going to call it X, okay? 215 on YouTube. So, guys, make sure you like the stream so that more people end up watching the stream. If you like it, it actually gets in front of more eyeballs. And people on Twitter, please come to Atheist Republic on YouTube and watch our shows there. Subscribe to our channel there. Watch our shows there, because you could get to be part of our live chat. There's a lot of activity right now. People are talking in live chat, and then you get to like our stream so that more people watch our videos too. So come over here, hop over from Twitter to YouTube. Yes.
Beautiful. And Master of Darkness is asking if you're going to be on the Atheist Experience.
Yes, today. I am. Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay. So let's move to the next news.
All right. Do I have the right one up? Yes, I think I do.
You do.
Fantastic.
Next news. Why Iran raided a Satanist concert and arrested hundreds. Last week, Iranian authorities arrested over 260 people at an underground music festival, labeling the event a Satanist gathering. The mass arrests, which took place in the Shahryar area of Tehran province, included 146 men and 115 women who were charged with participating in an unauthorized gathering and consuming alcohol. According to the state-run Tasmin news agency, attendees were adorned with signs and symbols of Satanism on their attire and accessories, and authorities seized alcohol and psychedelic drugs and 73 vehicles. The incident follows the death of Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian in a helicopter crash on May 19th, adding to the turmoil. All individuals except the event organizers have since been released, with 3 European nationals among those initially detained. So, basically, there was an underground music concert that was happening, which, by the way, sounds completely badass.
It's just metal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like metal. There are a couple really badass metal bands that come out of Iran. Many of them had to flee the country. Okay, no, scroll down a little bit. So, wait, no, right there for the Iran International in bed. Yeah. Okay, so this is an image that kept on being included for this news story, and I cannot tell based on the information on the reports provided if this is an actual image of things seized from this party, because if it is, it's just straight up like child's Halloween decorations. Like one of them is like a skull telephone. Look, it's a skull telephone with a bone for the phone. And they're like, you know what? This is Satan. I'm like, this is plastic Halloween decorations. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what the hell?
So if this is actually real images of stuff seized from this underground party, that is hilarious if true, because it looks like any Party City clearance sale. Like one of them is a little headband with pumpkins that just, boing boing on your head. Like, but it's photographed like it's a drug bust.
It's how's the bunny
money
devil
and
worship
on the table?
Look at bunny mask devil worship. Okay, this is like this is neither. A lot of times people confuse metal with devil worship, but this is not even metal. This is Halloween. Like, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen people wearing bunny costumes in metal gathering, right? It's more of a Halloween thing than a metal thing. Like, how is the bunny costume a devil worshipping thing? How is that related? I don't understand. Like, you have pumpkins. You have
little jack-o'-lanterns.
Devil worshippers don't have pumpkins. Okay, you don't have that's not a devil worshipping ritual to have pumpkins. That's a Halloween thing. Oh my, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is actually what they seized from the party, but if so, hilarious. But Armin, what do you know? Like, when you were back in Iran, did you ever go into like any underground music scenes or whatever? Was that like a big thing during your time, or is it a more recent
I mean,
thing?
it was a thing. I just didn't. I was such a good nerd. I was such a good boy. I was just such a good boy. I was just like studying and stuff. I was a nerd. I wouldn't go to stuff like that.
Oh my god. Why? But you were a bad boy because you would go find all the kids that weren't fasting during Ramadan and then go hit on girls because those were the bad girls.
Yeah, but nerdy bad girls. I would like university student bad girls, not like underground metal bad girls. I would find like, yeah, like if they were in university.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could talk to one of my friends about this because this seems like the kind of thing that he would have been into before he left Iran. And I bet he could give me some really good details. God, yeah. Here's the thing. I love a good underground music scene. It's so much fun just to be like at a rave in an abandoned shack on the side of the highway or like in the woods. It's a lot of fun. So as threatening as it is to deal with the morality police, a certain level I think adds to the excitement and makes it more legit in terms of like how much of a a real rebel you are. You know what I mean? It adds to the
Yes.
authenticity. Like I
Yes.
know some people who were like openly gay in the 1970s when America was much more homophobic, and now they're like old gays, and they're like, it's a good thing that we have all this acceptance. At the same time, there's less edge, and I kind of miss it. They're like, back when it was actually a threat, you know what? It was a bit more exciting. I'm like, oh my god.
These are just young guys want to have fun, but like these
Yeah.
are like they're not devil worshippers or Satanists. They're just like these are just the symbols that you use. I think they're also a little bit confused. Like they're using Halloween symbols because it just seems like dark and stuff, like with their metal party. But again, they're just trying
I'm
to have
still not
fun.
convinced that that's from the same event.
That's
I'm not convinced that it's from the same event.
I think they just I think these are just I think they just got their hands on anything that seems dark. You know what I mean? I don't maybe if it is from the same event, like they were just trying to have like a dark metal, custom party, and there's not that many ways to have fun, and this is just their way, and they got arrested. So 260.
Mhm.
By the way, is this like where are the girls? Was this a sausage fest?
I mean, it said that out of the people that were arrested, 115 were women. Apparently, everyone got
Oh,
released.
really? Okay, I missed
Yeah.
that part. I was away.
Yeah.
Okay, so good job, guys. You actually managed to keep a good ratio as well. Impressive. so that's pretty good. Oh, I feel bad for them now. Now this was a good, successful kind of party, like with large. I mean, maybe it was
Yeah.
too big. Yeah, it was like you should keep it to under 50, or else it would be too loud and it's dangerous, and you get arrested.
Mhm.
260 people. That's gonna get the attention of the authorities, of course.
Apparently,
Yeah,
there are
it was
some
too
really good
ambitious.
parties that happen in Iran. Like my friends have told me some pretty crazy
Yes.
stories about parties with psychedelics in the desert. I'm like, damn, that sounds badass. I'm not gonna lie.
260 people, and you're saying 150 were women? This was a pretty good ratio.
115.
15. Okay.
Yeah, and
Wow,
146 men.
like almost half. How
Yeah,
did they?
yeah.
That's pretty hard to do. Okay, good job, guys. Sorry, what didn't work out.
I love that that's your concern. You're like, what's the ratio?
Yeah, like that's what I want to know before I go to a party. Like, I'm like, are you gonna come? Like, okay, give me the ratio. Let me see if it's worth it.
Oh my god, such a man.
Yeah. All right, guys, make sure you keep liking the stream. We need the likes, okay? We need the likes. I know some people use the super chat, but you don't have to spend any money to support this channel. You could like the stream, and that will also help us out. So thank you so much for everybody doing that. But again, thank you also to the super chat people.
For your right to party.
Yeah, that's actually totally true for these guys.
D is saying that chicks like metal too, and then wait, where was someone? And then, most metal shows are sausage fests. You know what? You're not entirely wrong.
But that's why this was so impressive that they got like almost a 50-50 ratio. That's pretty good. Good job, guys. Like whoever the organizer or like, I'm actually very impressed.
They got some.
I was
pull.
kind of like looking down upon them because of the Halloween costumes and the metal,
Yeah.
thing. I was like, you guys are like kind of new.
Okay, with the Halloween costumes, I swear to God, Armin, there's a part of me that thinks that maybe like the regime officials that cracked down on this just went and found some Halloween shit to put in a photograph. Like that is not outside the realm of possibility because it's like so weird.
I think this is what happened. Okay, the organizers were true, like they were metal and they know what they're doing, but they told people that if you're coming, you need to have something. You need to have a costume or something dark, all right, just to fit in. And the other people who just wanted to come party and they didn't know what they're doing, they're like, oh my, let me just grab something. Like they look around the house, like they probably had something left over from Halloween. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wear these on my head, and they're like, go. Maybe they will let me in, right? So the organizers knew what they were doing, but the people showing up, they just wanted to put something on so they could be considered like dark enough to be let in. I think that's how those Halloween stuff
celebrate Halloween now.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? In Iran, Halloween? Definitely. Yeah.
Did you celebrate Halloween when you were a kid?
No. Not back when I was there, but now, it's just Christmas and Halloween and all that stuff.
Valentine's Day really big.
Valentine's Day Halloween was big. Back when I was in Iran, Valentine's Day was not that big of a deal, right? Like, no, it wasn't a thing, but now it is. All the Western holidays, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the regime doesn't like it, but they cannot stop it. It's just too much, especially Valentine's Day.
But do people do trick-or-treating?
So we had something kind of like trick-or-treating that was Persian. So we had that. We had like these metal, we had like bowls and like we had spoons and we would hit on them in front of your door and it'd be so annoying until you show up and give us some candy. So we had something similar to that, but it wasn't on Halloween. It was another holiday.
That's actually rude as hell. We don't do that shit in America, and what we have is already pretty annoying.
Yes.
You're telling me we had something to deal with squads of children showing up, bashing pots in front of my house, harassing. What kind of extortion is this? What kind of extortion racket is this?
Yeah, it actually gets so loud, and they won't go away until you show up with candies. It's like so loud.
I bet a bunch of kids get smacked doing that. How many kids got smacked doing that?
No, it was part of the culture. People accepted it. You had candies
because they're being held hostage. They accepted
it. Yeah, it's kind of like trick or treat, but you start with the trick, and then the trick stops until you get a treat.
When you cough up the candy. This is why we don't negotiate with terrorists.
It's called bush qabzani, which means dish hitting. Bush qabzani.
Wow.
So
it's in the name. You're being a little shit.
Yes. So yeah.
Is it during the day or is it at night?
It's at night. Yeah.
Oh God, help me.
Show up at your. Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically like Halloween, but instead of you hitting, knocking the door or hitting, the bell. Imagine 10 or 20 kids at your door and they're all like hitting on like heavily, like with their spoons hitting on the pot and like it's a huge noise, and then you show up outside and give them candy and then they go,
and then you have to hear them go door to door throughout your entire neighborhood until they eventually freaking leave. Are you kidding me?
Yes. And no, and then the next batch will come. So that's the next, like during that night, like you would have probably like 10 to 20 different groups of kids showing up at your door with that noise. I don't know if they still do it. Anybody from Iran do they still do that? Because that was a huge thing.
Is there any way to opt out of this? Because in Halloween we have like a symbol where if you have your porch light on, that means you come.
This is what you do. As soon as you hear it, you
don't approach.
No. So I remember some people had like sick people in their home, and every time they hear the spoon, somebody would jump out like, shh, I have candy, guys, please. I have a sick mom, please, not here. and then they will stop, and then you would give them candy. But you would have to do that like multiple times. Like as soon as you hear them coming, you have to jump out. Like, guys, please, I have candy. Not here. Not this house. I have a sick mother that needs to sleep. Like, so it's kind of a hassle.
Like I have a baby sleeping. Please, for the love of God. Oh my God.
Right.
We got
things have changed. Since I was in Iran, because like now people if you go to Iran, if you go to a park, people are just walking with their dogs. Like back when I was in Iran, that was like people didn't have pet dogs, or if they had pet dogs, they wouldn't bring them out. But now it's like the norm. So that's weird.
Is there a type of dog that's popular? Out of curiosity,
I don't know. Like I haven't been to Iran for more than 20 years. I'm just saying when I was in Iran, having a dog was like such a no
taboo
and such a taboo. Yeah. But now it's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Angie gave a super chat. Thank you, Angie, saying the Islamic Republic panics. It's Satan. Basically. It reminded me of a story of a friend of mine. And he was growing up in the 80s. And he was telling me about how when he was a kid, it was the Michael Jordan era, and it was the Chicago Bulls. And the Chicago Bulls globally, on fire, absolute, everyone just obsessed with the Chicago Bulls. And somehow in his like village town, he got like a huge like Chicago Bulls legit jacket. And it was a huge deal that he got this Chicago Bulls jacket all the way in his town. And he was so excited. It was like a dream come true. And he wore the first day that he wore his Chicago Bulls jacket as a child, the morality police came and brought him in and took and confiscated his jacket because they said that it was satanic. Because the Chicago Bulls logo is like this giant red bull. So it's like this angry red face with the giant horns. And they thought it was satanic. And he would just talked about how it was one of the worst things that happened in his childhood. He was like just so excited to get his Michael Jordan, like rare Chicago Bulls, like super sick, like 1980s jacket. And on the first day, they came and took it from him because it was satanic.
You have to be like, do you know that there are actual animals that have horns, right? Like, you know that the concept of a horn is not just a mythology thing for the devil. Do you know that have you seen a goat before, sir? Have you seen a bull? Do you know that horns are actually a thing for animals? It's not just about...
Science apologist, the red heifer. Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe.
Exactly. See, are you starting to see the patterns now?
Oh my god. Okay. We have my mouse is running out of battery, which is weird because I just changed it. Okay, so can we clap for the next news?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Next news.
Insult to Islam. Lebanon targets lesbian comic over prayer jokes. An openly lesbian Lebanese comic faces blasphemy charges from Islamic authorities over a viral sketch mocking Muslim prayers. Shadin Faki's crude jokes about Lebanon's religious and political factions have sparked outrage, with the Supreme Islamic Shiite Council accusing her of the crimes of blasphemy, insulting religious rituals, and stirring up sectarian strife. The Grand Mufti also ordered a complaint against Faki for insult and blasphemy against the divine glory and Prophet Muhammad. As human rights activist Jad Shahrur stated, quote, the idea that someone could be arrested, harassed, and subjected to death threats just for expressing views that may contradict certain societal norms is unacceptable. Faki is no stranger to legal troubles over her comedy, having faced a military summons in 2021 for insulting security forces. The case highlights Lebanon's contradictions between liberal freedoms and religious conservatism. So this woman managed to unite the Sunnis and Shias of Lebanon.
Ah,
Yeah.
Lebanon. Yeah. What was this? It was a comic? I don't see the comic.
Oh, no, that's her right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you.
Unfortunately, I wasn't
Okay.
able to find in D, our lovely editor, we weren't able to
Oh,
find
okay.
the offending clip or anything that has subtitles in it. And obviously I don't speak Arabic, so I'm not able to bring more insight into exactly what her insults to the Muslim prayer rituals are. Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood when you said comic because I was looking for a comic strip. But
Oh,
comic
no, a
as in
comedian.
comedian.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I was like, where is it? I want to see the comic strip. But no, she's just okay. So what did she say? Do we know?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I can't find a translation anywhere, so it's not entirely clear. I don't know if
Okay.
there's probably people that speak Arabic in our live chat, but I don't know if they can find the clip or anything to give us, or anyone who's familiar with this case. I don't know if they're able to give us any specific insight into what she said, but apparently she was like mocking allegedly the Muslim prayer rituals. And yeah.
You know, Lebanon has a very active atheist activist scene. Like, there's a lot of it's a growing atheist activist community in Lebanon, which is very brave, given that this is a country of Hezbollah right now. I mean, it's they're a little bit ahead of Iran, because in Iran you don't get to even be an atheist activist group or announce publicly that you are a lesbian and make prayer jokes. In Iran you would get arrested and immediately for something like that. But even in Lebanon, Lebanon is a bit more free compared to Iran, but it's still very dangerous. I mean, this is where Hezbollah operates, so a lot of people are very extremely religious, and you could get eliminated for saying stuff like that. So it's
I'm not gonna lie, I
yeah,
haven't been following what's been happening in Lebanon for a while now. Like, have you been paying
yes,
attention?
yes.
Because I mean,
The
I was more
economy-
familiar with things like last year when I was like, "Oh God, we're one step away from being a failed state." But like, how are things going
now we're
now?
half a step. It's not going very good at all.
Oh.
It's getting worse, but it's just such a repeat. It's the news is just repetitive. Like, oh my God, the economy sucks. So now, and also that whole the economy like getting worse and worse is now people are not as interested in that, because after October 7th, when it comes to Lebanon, everybody is now focused on whether Hezbollah is going to join the fight, whether Israel is going to attack Lebanon. And imagine dealing with like a semi-failed state, and now we have to think about whether Hezbollah and Israel are going to war at this time with each other as well, which is insane. Like all the problems that you have had before, now you add this on top of it. So it's absolutely insane.
Is there anything holding Hezbollah back?
Oh yeah, but because Hezbollah is now, so Hezbollah has gone from just being a proxy group of the Islamic Republic of Iran to having its own also political power and economic power within Lebanon. And for it to be able to maintain that, it needs to get reelected, right? So it's not all based on support from Tehran. It's also its own legitimacy within Lebanon. It's important to it, right? So it's not as loyal as a proxy as, I don't know, 40 years ago. It's a proxy with its own self-interest. So it's not like a loyal dog with that Khamenei could just order to go to war, and we're like, okay, sure. They have to also take into calculation that if they take Lebanon into war, a lot of Lebanese people will be so angry to the point that they will lose seats in the parliament, and they cannot afford to lose those seats. So that's what's holding them back.
Out of curiosity, did you see any footage of anyone in Lebanon celebrating Raisi's death? Because I've seen several pieces of footage.
In Palestine, I've seen.
Yeah,
I've seen in
Gazans.
Palestine people.
Yeah,
In
celebrating
Palestine, people are handing sweets for Raisi's death, which is, a lot of Iranian people were sharing those scenes because they're like, look, you spend your money on Palestine, and Palestinians are celebrating your president's death.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they're
Actually,
nice.
I have commentary on that, but I'll save that for when we're doing the segment. Oh, Zaid, thank you. Someone who can speak Arabic and give us some insight, saying Shay then made fun of Muhammad and the Salat and how it looks like choreography, and she started saying the Salat while doing the Macarena. Okay, that's actually
Oh
pretty
my
funny.
God, how is she, like, you could say that in Lebanon and okay, that's pretty bold. Like, yeah, Lebanon is different than Iran. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's
Your
brave.
reaction of Lebanon built different.
Yeah, okay. Like, that sounds pretty risky. I can't imagine somebody saying that in Iran.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She is bold.
Oh,
She got
by the way, here's another interesting thing. A lot of Iranians make fun of their government because they keep acting like Lebanon is such a great place that is Islamic, and Palestine is also like such a holy place. And then Iranians look at Lebanon and Palestine, and hijab is not mandatory, and so many women in Lebanon are not wearing the hijab. I like, okay, if you celebrate these places so much, how come hijab is mandatory in Iran and not in these places? Hijab is not mandatory. Like, why is it like, why? Like, before Taliban came into power in Afghanistan, Iran was the only country in the world that hijab was mandatory. Not a single other Islamic country had made hijab mandatory for everybody except Iran. And now it's two countries, it's Afghanistan and Iran. So a lot of people are like, if this is supposed to be mandatory, how come no other Islamic country does this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a comment, Angry Keyboard Warrior, saying, hello, Atheist Republic. How can I send college flyers justifying the October 7th attack I mentioned in a previous stream? I think the easiest way would be for you to send me pictures on Instagram. You can message me on Instagram. My account is in the description. And
yes,
also,
look in the description, you can see. Yeah.
We got a super chat. Thank you from HD Drake in commenting on the my slip of the tongue on the previous segment. Saying Susanna is clearly not from Chicago, mixing up Michael Jordan with Michael Jackson. Sacrilege. Okay, it was first of all. And I also have no Chicago accent. Thank God. No offense. So
that we're gonna get a lot of angry comments now.
Yeah, they can bring it. So it cannot be as bad as the Toronto accent, though. I don't know if anything can be as bad as the Toronto accent.
Oh my God.
The Toronto accent is heinous. I'm coming out guns blazing.
Are you trying to make us lose fans now? Like,
Toronto wants to pretend to be New York so bad. I ain't ever seen a group of people who want to act like they're hard and act like they're from New York so badly. It's crazy.
Okay, let's move on before you start insulting another city.
Because I've been getting into the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef. I don't know if anyone else is. And when Kendrick Lamar said that y'all want to come to America to imitate heritage and then can't imitate this violence, I was like, bro. Like he was like takfiring all of Canada. Y'all want to pretend like you're so hard? You ain't hard. You see who your southern neighbor is? You want to know violence? We got violence. Sorry, this is a tangent.
Wait, are you proud of your violence? Because, yeah, I mean, if bad accents and everything, at least we're a lot safer than you guys. We have free healthcare. And so you guys have to look both ways. I mean, you guys can't even send your kids to school without worrying if they're going to make it back. So,
I mean,
bad accent and all.
Yeah.
Canada has it better.
I don't know. There's a part of me that the FAFO nature of America is something I appreciate. Because in a lot of senses, there's a lot of problems that Canada has that I do not want. But, I'm getting sidetracked. So,
we get another super chat.
Oops, Carl just sent us a super sticker. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you for the super sticker. Okay, so this next story was actually really funny.
Also, you guys, no, I'm not gonna play that card. That's gonna be offensive. It's gonna be hurtful. I'll tell you after this. Okay. Can I clap for the next news?
Yes, we can. This actually made me laugh so hard.
All right. Next news.
Anti-Islam message on pizza receipt leads to police investigation in Malaysia. Authorities in Malaysia have launched an investigation after a Domino's pizza receipt containing a derogatory message mocking Islam was circulated online. The instance, which occurred in May 15th in Penang, prompted police to open cases for hurting religious feelings and using, quote, insulting or abusive words with the intent to provoke a breach of peace. Superintendent Kamarul Mizal Janal stated, quote, "We urge the public to refrain from speculation which could threaten public order." Domino's Pizza condemned the incident, emphasizing, "We do not tolerate discrimination or aggression of any kind." 4 foreigners, so this happened 2 days ago. The update is that 4 foreigners have been arrested in connection with the case, underscoring the serious nature of the offense. D is saying Pizzagate too. So here's the thing. Oh my gosh. This is so funny. So I was like, what happened? What was so Armin, please bring up the show notes of the image I wanted you to show. So I did a little bit of digging because, and zoom in a lot. The news was not saying what the insult was. So I did a little bit of digging. Wait, no, you're going to have to, really zoom in. Can you? Yeah, there we go. So here's the thing. So when I guess they had like some delivery notes or something that they left on the receipt so that the pizza could be delivered to them easier. And this is what it said. So I was like, what did they? Because a lot of times when there's these accusations of blasphemy, I can't find what was said, right? Because it wasn't reported. I did some digging and I found it. It says payment required. And then the note, at this noisy place with stupid moaning sound like having sex every day. Stupid Islam. So I think what they're trying to communicate is that they are near a masjid.
Near a mosque.
Yeah, and they call it stupid noisy place with a moaning sound like having sex every day.
That sounds like the person who ordered the pizza put it there. No, not the person who delivered the pizza.
No, exactly. The person that made the order put in this note.
Yes.
And apparently,
so just follow the azan.
Yeah, they're foreigners. And so obviously these foreigners were not loving the sights and sounds of being located near the local mosque.
Wait, should I bring up the adhan and we could listen to it and see if it actually sounds like that or not? Like,
the funny thing is that when I was looking into what the insult was, I was not expecting this. Last night I just burst out laughing.
I was thinking, why would they put? I was thinking about why would they insult Islam on on the pizza order, now it makes a lot of sense. They were just giving you instructions on where to deliver the pizza to. It's just like, just follow the sex noises.
Yeah, just go look for the moaning noise.
That is hilarious. I've never heard that before. Stupid. No, I like the part where it's like stupid Islam. Wait, hold on, bring it up again. Like, it's so with stupid. Okay. At there's
This-
no other instructions.
No.
So this is the description that you add on top of the address to help the delivery guy find a place. So at this noisy place with stupid more morning sound, like having sex. I love this stupid Islam at this stupid Islam. Stupid Islam.
You can tell
We have-
that they are so annoyed over being woken up in the morning.
Right.
They're like, I'm
Here's the
over
thing.
it. I'm done. I don't want to hear it anymore.
I can understand how if you hear the azan for the first time, it might sound a little bit, interesting or kind of, I don't know, mythical, kind of like meditative.
Mhm.
Okay. So some people who hear for the first time, like, okay, that's okay. Like I could see somebody like this calming effect that might have on you. But imagine having to hear that 5 times every freaking day. It will become immediately extremely annoying. That is the problem with it. So actually, should we play
Especially,
it?
I just imagine it like playing over a neighborhood on like blown out speakers.
Hold on. So let me see. Let's see if this actually sounds like sex noises. Okay. Hold on. Let me go back a little bit because I had it muted.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
I will never listen to the adhan ever again the same way.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, okay.
Allahu Akbar.
That's a very good come. Like if that's sex noises, this must have been really good.
Heavenly.
Heavenly orgasm. Yeah, I could see why somebody would think that. Yeah. All right.
Oh my God, Zaid
Right.
I live in a neighborhood with more than 10 mosques, and there's one right next to my window.
Oh no. Oh,
I would
no.
lose my mind.
No. I'm so sorry, Zaid. I'm so sorry.
I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind. Armin has seen how grumpy I get when my sleep is interrupted. I'm a straight up
Right.
bitch. And if this was like a permanent fixture of my life, I fear that it might get taken out on the people in my life.
I think if that guy was staying at an Airbnb, the Airbnb guy should have said that like there's a mosque next, like that person should get like a bad review. Like there needs to be, like I feel like I'm creating a story in my head. Like this is a foreigner staying at an Airbnb next to a mosque, and they're pissed that because they have to listen to the azan. When I went, can I tell you a story? When I was a kid, we went to Dubai, and I was shocked to hear the adhan. First of all, in Iran, you hear the adhan 3 times a day, not 5 times a day, okay? Because the Shias are lazy. This is something that the Sunnis hate the Shia for because they have reduced the 5-time prayers to 3 prayers a day by mixing them together, right? So 4 of the prayers are mixed together, so you have to pray 3 times. So less azan during the day. So that's an advantage. But also, I was shocked when I was in Dubai because this was a Sunni country. The UAE was a Sunni country, and they didn't have. So you say Allah. It starts the call to prayer says Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and then part of it says Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah, which means I testify that Muhammad is the prophet of God. And then it follows by saying ashhadu anna Ali waliyullah. And they didn't have that. I was like,
Oh my God.
they skipped a part. When I was in Dubai, I was like, oh my God, they skipped the Ali part. How like this azan is missing the Ali part. How is
Yeah,
it like
Ali.
yeah. Like the azan didn't have Ali. Yeah, so that was weird. As a kid, I was
How
shocked.
could they?
Yeah.
How could they? They don't understand his sacrifice, his purity.
Yeah.
Angie Unier gave a super chat. Thank you, Angie. Saying Islam tries to look good until someone said something bad about me and then goes on a tantrum. Yeah. Self-criticism is not a strong point. Kenny gave a super chat saying, take my money,
Thank
just
you.
stop playing that horrible sound. No, Armin, this is okay. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the Persian holiday of the banging of the pans. Right. Okay, but it is gonna be we play these on until we reach a certain fundraising goal.
Yes, give us money or I'll continue.
Yeah, this is how we extort our audience.
Zayd, look at Zayd's come.
Yeah. Armin, what is it like growing up in Shirk?
It's not shark. You just don't understand. It's not understand.
Yeah. Oh, there was something else I was gonna say. What was it? Shoot. Okay, never mind. Maybe it'll come back to me.
Yeah. All right, guys. Make sure you guys stick around because once we finish the last news, we're gonna do videos of people celebrating Racy's helicopter crash.
Or as the Onion put it, Racy getting stoned by a mountain.
Oh, I should also include that in our selection. Okay, don't tell them. Yeah, you already.
Well, I just did.
Yeah, but they didn't hear it. Okay, let me just include that. Okay. All right. So, can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
All right. Next news.
This happened a while ago, but I just thought this was funny. So we're going to cover it now. WTF. Spider-Man gets arrested during Eid prayer in Turkey. In a surprising twist, Turkish influencer Ayaz Kok, known as Turkey's local Spider-Man, was arrested on April 10th for attending an Eid al-Fitr prayer at a mosque in Hatay while dressed in a full-blown Spider-Man costume. Kok, I have no idea how to correctly pronounce his name in Turkish, who has been traveling across Turkey to uplift earthquake victims, had arrived in Hatay, the 32nd city in his journey, as part of his mission to cheer up those affected by the earthquakes that devastated Turkey and Syria, which killed 53,000 people and destroying 38,000 buildings. Quote, I was going to the Eid prayer. After I washed my hands and face, the people responded positively, Kok explained in a video message. However, his masked appearance caused unease among some worshippers, leading to police intervention after reports of a suspicious masked man. Videos showed officers attempting to forcibly remove Kok's mask and eventually handcuffing him. Quote, they forced me to the ground, handcuffed me, and stepped on my feet, Kok recounted, visibly emotional and injured, stating that he was unable to walk. After clarifying his intentions, Kok was released. Despite the ordeal, Kok reiterated his commitment to spread joy and fulfill his dream of visiting all 81 provinces in Turkey. So basically, there's this dude that goes around and tries to make people smile by being Turkish Spider-Man. And Turkish Spider-Man went to the mosque to pray, and it didn't go too well. And it was just kind of an unexpected incident.
Why did they? What was their problem with him?
Okay, so basically, at first I thought that this was kind of weird, but then I actually kind of understand why they reacted this way, if I'm being completely honest. Because basically, someone shows up, like, at your house of worship, like completely masked, and like you don't know what their intentions are or what's going on. And then yeah, it's just kind of, oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah, that's not going to go well. What is that sign?
Like, what am I doing? I'm just Spider-Man. Spider-Man needs to pray. Spider-Man. Oh, they took
Oh
him
my
off.
goodness.
Oh no! Now everybody knows who was
Oh,
it. Peter?
Spider-Man was
Was
unmasked.
it Peter Parker? Yeah. Okay.
So
That's funny.
basically, I was thinking about this if this happened at like any of the local churches I went to growing up, and honestly, like I can pretty reasonably see people reacting in a similar way, because it's like you're dressed up as a superhero, like going to church. A lot of people, like just imagining this in like the parish that I grew up in, like a lot of people would probably be offended by that because they're like, this isn't a costume party. Like, we're not here to be superheroes or whatever. Like, we're here to worship. We're here to have our service. And a lot of people would believe that as like you're treating it like a joke. And then also being completely masked, like a lot of people are going to find that potentially threatening. So at first I was like, what the F is going on here? But the more I thought about it, I realized like, yeah, I kind of understand why people reacted that way. Like I could easily see the police getting involved, like in a similar scenario if that happened, like where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Counter argument. We had a Spider-Man long time ago in Saudi Arabia, and nobody stopped him.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, this was. I was looking for that picture because I remember this.
Wait.
How come he was allowed? How come he was allowed to pray inside like this in Saudi Arabia?
Oh my gosh. And he actually had the full outfit on. The other dude didn't
Yes.
have the full outfit on. Yo. That's an awesome photo.
And also,
I want to see if
people
there's
have
any
been
other
making.
I want to see if there's any other
Look,
similar photos
people
of
have
it.
been making comics like this for a long time. Have you seen this one? I've seen this. It was like
Hell yes.
I've been seeing these pictures like this for a very long time, and this one, yeah, this is before AI. We've been seeing pictures like this, so people were waiting for like a Muslim Spider-Man, and as soon as it's delivered, then people, they're not don't welcome it.
Oh my god. Wait, if you Google Muslim Spider-Man, I'm seeing hijabi Spider-Mans.
You see, they're hijabi
I'm seeing
Spider-Man,
giving dua, like, and it's
Spider-Woman.
Spider Iman. Oh my
Spider-Man.
god. Wow. I didn't know I needed this in my life, but I kind of love it.
Wait,
That's hilarious.
Hold on.
What are you looking for?
Look, I have actually something else I want to show you. Here, this is actually the best one. Okay. Hold on. I'm ready for this one. This is a tape.
What does it say? What was the caption?
Oh, hold on. Oh, the caption. Spider-Man is saving me from crazy Iblis, from the devil. Hold on. So this is a hijabi woman. Hold on.
Oh my god, brother Spider-Man is wanting to saving me from crazy Iblis. My brother, this is haram. You must not carry me. This is for after marriage. By the way, this hijab, it is so much ugly. I don't like this color for me. Ooh, very nice shawarma shop. Drop me off over, brother.
Wait, one more time. This is really good. Hold on.
Oh my god, brother Spider-Man is wanting to saving me from crazy Iblis. My brother, This is haram. You must not carry me. This is for after marriage. By the way, this hijab, it is so much ugly. I don't like this color for me. Ooh, very nice shawarma shop. Drop me off over here, my brother.
So fantastic. Peak comedy. I love it.
Oh my god, I love when wanting to saving me.
Oh god.
Oh my goodness. So should we dig into our Raisi memes now? I'm so excited
Yes.
for this.
Oh. Wait, what is can I just ask what is he doing here? Oh, just such a nice guy. What is he doing here? Is this
Well,
him?
basically, like
Oh no, that's
his
another.
whole thing is that he just goes around and tries to be nice and kind to people and make people smile around Turkey. Specifically in the areas hit by the
That's so sweet.
earthquake. Yeah, no, and he just like goes and like helps kids that got hurt during the earthquake. Like it's actually really, really sweet.
Yeah, that's actually nice.
Oh, Dia's
Okay,
saying that that's a
before-
different guy. Oh, because there's another
That's a
guy that
different
does
guy.
something similar, but the spirit behind what he does is the same.
The same. Okay, so let's do before we do Iranian people celebrating this, let's do some of the comics and Western media covering it, and then we'll go to Iranian people cover. So you send this one first. So explain.
Oh yeah, this is the latest cover of Charlie Hebdo. And it's the hand of God coming down. And then it says, God is real. He disposes of the mullahs for us.
I like he just put his hand on the and then this one. Oh, I actually have so many good pictures that I could share with you guys that I should have had prepared.
This was from The Onion saying Iranian president stoned to death with mountain.
Yeah, let me actually show. Oh, these are not YouTube friendly. I cannot show all of these together. Okay, let me show you the ones that.
What was it?
Here. So let me show you some of the memes the Iranian people have been making. Again, a lot of them are not YouTube friendly. This one requires an explanation. This is Jannati. It's a mullah who refuses to die. He's more than 100 years old. So he's like making fun of Raisi that he's dead. And
He's like
not,
the crypt keeper.
Still... Yeah. So this is a meme that I saw Iranian people sharing on social media. And I stand with helicopters. And this one was a big one because at the moment that people didn't know he's still alive or dead, people were wondering if, because the place that he went down, there's a lot of wild animals. And people were hoping that he's alive and he's being eaten by bears and coyotes and stuff like that. So people were sharing this.
And devoured by the Iranian mountain lions.
Yes.
Oops.
People were like when people were looking for him, this was a very big meme, like a common meme going around everywhere. What else? Okay, let's do the videos. People are like, that's cool. Yeah. Okay. So I think I sent you did I send you this video? Did you see this yet? Have you seen this yet?
No, I haven't.
If no, okay, so you're gonna enjoy this then. All right. Oh wait. All right. So this is some Iranian people's reaction to when eventually the news of his death was official. So let's look at this video.
من رفعاتم از صلوات
The booty shaking under the chador is so funny to me.
Yeah, and there's so many videos of people celebrating. This one to share, but people are toasting, people are celebrating, there are people walking in the streets of Iran giving each other sweets and congratulating each other's. And also, by the way, the Iranian government brought in people from Afghanistan, and they admitted they brought 100, according to their own numbers, 100,000 people from Afghanis to participate in the morning ceremonies to make it look like people are sad. So they have a lot of aerial pictures showing a lot of people showed up for his memorial for in black. But then when you go look at the pictures on the ground in Iran, it's just like all obviously all Afghanistan people from Afghanistan, like Shias from Afghanistan that the Iranian government brings into Iran. And now we were like, I thought that these numbers are exaggerated, but just yesterday I saw the official number from the regime was 100,000 people from Afghanistan, just so that they could make the numbers of people look big, right?
And do
but
they let them stay, or do they then send them back to Afghanistan?
Oh no! There are people from Afghanistan in Iran that the government is trying to re-engineer the demographics of the Shias, because there's like a lot of Iranians are not religious anymore, so they bring extremely like religious Shias. Afghanistan is mostly Sunnis, but they also have a huge Shia population that the Iranian government is trying to bring into Afghanistan, just so that they could have a big religious loyal to the regime community as well. And that's what they fill these events with these days to
that's
make
not
it look
going to
like
go well.
big. Yeah, that's pretty. A lot of people are. Yeah, this is like I can't even begin how angry people are about that. So, but
that's not going to go.
What
well.
is this? Can you I haven't seen this one. Do you want to give me?
I believe this is a celebration. I think this is in Toronto, or this is somewhere in Canada. I can't remember where.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just to give you a heads up, Armin, there is like music that plays in this. It's the helicopter song.
Oh, I should mute it then. The helicopter song would get us a copyright strike.
Oh man, it's just so fun though.
Yeah, so you could just say it, just sing it, just say helicopter, helicopter. Okay, well I'll play it. Okay, so you go ahead.
Helicopter, helicopter, da, 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 da. Helicopter, helicopter. I don't know Bosnian.
Wait, I have so many videos. I should have prepared. Let me actually.
I have such a.
There were fireworks.
It's so funny to me. So it's just so funny to me to think about this Bosnian singer, because that song was like really big a few years ago. It was like a TikTok sound that went really popular, so it had a big like boost. But I just imagine like the singer suddenly wondering why there was a giant spike in people listening to this song again. He's like, why did I get this fat royalty check all of a sudden?
Wait, hold on.
That song is genuinely so catchy though.
So hold on. So people, look, you can see in the background, it's the news of the body being found on their TV, right? And in the front, the people are like opening champagne and sweets.
All those sweets.
Yeah, the internet was flooded with people toasting and drinking and going to the park and giving random people sweets and congratulations. Yeah, there was a video, if I could find it, like, people, like, there was a mom and her child, somebody went with the camera, like, here's some sweets, and she said, like, what for? And she, like, and they both started laughing and like, congratulations to you too as well. Like, people in parks in Iran, they're just giving out each other sweets to each other and congratulating each other. So it's fantastic. It's so amazing. Many, like, it's flooded.
What do you think about people who they're like, oh, we shouldn't be celebrating because this means that like we'll never get justice for the crimes that he committed? Like Shireen
too
Ebadi.
optimistic about. I think they were too optimistic about what's going to happen eventually. Like this is probably the greatest justice that you're going to get. Like I don't know if I'm not that confident that these people are going to go, because some of these people, again, I'm not saying it will not happen. It might happen, but some of these people are so confident that the regime will topple and all of these people will have their day in court. And we will get to watch them be answerable to the Iranian people. Again, that might happen, but some of these people seem too certain about that happening, and we're like, oh, so sad that he died because we wanted him to suffer in jail and we wanted him in court. Like, okay, yeah, I don't think that's. I think this is. I don't think that you're too optimistic about what could happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for like all the mass executions that happened in the 80s, only one guy who wasn't even that like high up has been brought to justice in a criminal court, and now he's in Sweden living in a cushy Swedish prison for the rest of his life.
That's a good.
Like,
yeah.
And I can't remember exactly how high up he was, but my understanding is that he was like not even close to being as influential in the mass executions as Raisi was. So I'm like, what? I don't know. I mean, I understand why people would have that reaction, but I agree with you. I think this is like the best we're gonna get. Likely.
I'm gonna find a writing by somebody. Let me just say, به جدی ترین شکل جدی گرفته نشد. Because there was a writing about Raisi's death that was just pure, beautiful. I don't know if I could find it. I don't know but there was a Iranian writer who talked about Raisi, and it was such a. He destroyed Raisi after his death. And one of the lines in his explanation about how insignificant Raisi is, he said basically he was not taken seriously in the most serious way possible. Like there's nobody that cares about this man. Like even like when it comes to both reformers, anti-regime people, or hardliners, this person has become the most insignificant president this regime has ever had, and he's just seen like his death. His death is seen as so unimportant,
inconsequential,
right? Like inconsequential, right? Usually when a president dies, in many countries they. It's a sad event. But even in countries where the president is hated by some people, they start cursing the person after he did. But only in Iran, people turn his death into such a joke. Like he was such a joke, so inconsequential, and also so unintelligent and so uneducated, so that his death has turned, like the way his death has turned into a mockery. This writer was saying it in such an eloquent way about how big of a joke this person was and how unseriously people took him, and how like even in the people in the mourning ceremonies where people were like pretending like they were crying over his death. One of the people that comes and manages, they call them madah, these ceremonies, and starts singing and crying at the same time. He was thinking about that we were expecting the supreme leader to cry in the same way that he cried about Qasim Soleimani, but he didn't cry. And perhaps there's some, there's a reason behind it that we should all accept.
That's actually very important, Armin. I want you, because we haven't talked about this yet, I want you to talk about the reaction from Khamenei, because we talked about it behind the scenes, but I think it's important for the audience to know.
So immediately when Raisi died, Khamenei, even before his announcement, even before it was confirmed that he's dead, Khamenei came out and said nothing will change, everything will go as if Khamenei announced that his death is going to be inconsequential to everything that we're doing before he was officially announced that he's dead. And then Khamenei himself changed the black robes because he's dead, so you're supposed to wear black, but he went from black to white very shortly after. which is bizarre. Like you could see when Qasem Soleimani died, Khamenei, like they made a huge deal out of it, and Khamenei was crying. You could see Khamenei visibly crying, but now they're not. He's like acting like nothing happened, and you could even see the highest officials of the regime when they were in these ceremonies. They were like smiling, they were chit-chatting with each other, they were like even laughing over random things, as if they're just, this is just like a get-together, like not actually a ceremony for someone's death. So it was just bizarre. And also, I don't know if you heard this, Susie, Racy's mother came out and said that, I hope if this is not God's doing, I hope the people who killed you die. Right, so Racy's mother is acting like this was
A murder.
A murder, and Alam al-Huda, or Iran's Santa Claus, which is also
His father-in-law.
Father-in-law of Racy, which is some people see as a major force against Khamenei, a religious force against Khamenei. He came out and now posted with a picture of Khamenei and Racy next to each other, that I hope God grants everyone else in the regime martyrdom as well.
Wait.
So he's like, so Racy has been
sounds like a threat.
That is a threat, right? So with the Khamenei's picture, so Racy said like, oh, my son-in-law is now a murderer, and great for him, and I hope God gives you all of you martyrdom as well. Basically, people are seeing that as him accusing the regime killing Racy, and he wishing martyrdom for them as well, as if like, I hope this happens to you. So that was, I'm not interpreting it necessarily like that, but that's how other people are interpreting it. Like, oh, I hope God gives you martyrdom. People are seeing that as a threat.
Well, because here's the thing, because a lot of people are spreading conspiracy theories that this was Israel, partially just partially because of just standard out the box anti-Semitism, and then partially because of Israel's actual history of conducting assassinations within Iran's own territory. Yeah. But when we have had discussions, Armin, you don't think it's Israel at all. If you think think that if this was foul play, you think it was an inside. If it was an inside job, you think it was an inside job from the regime, likely from Khamenei's people, preventing a favored next supreme leader of the IRGC, preventing that from overtaking Khamenei's own son from being the next supreme leader.
Well, there's two theories now. Okay, so here's the thing. It's very difficult to say this is Israel, because first of all, when Israel does assassinations in Iran, they don't deny it. Okay, they don't confirm it. They don't take responsibility for it, but they also don't deny it. Israel came out and denied that this was them. This was like the first time I ever heard Israel denying something like this, right? And also, the point of Israel doing assassination is for it to have a deterring factor, right? So when Israel does things in Iran, it doesn't confirm that it had done it, but it is known. Like, people will understand that it was Israel. It becomes obvious that it's Israel, and the utility of that is so that you know that Israel has deterring power. If this is done in a way that you cannot trace it back to Israel, and people are not thinking that it's Israel, and Israel is also denying that it's Israel, it wouldn't even have, like, what would be the point of killing Racy? Killing Racy is not going to change Iran's politics, so it's not like he's the decision maker. But at the same time, it doesn't have any deterring capability, because you're doing Khamenei a service by killing him, and if you make it so that nobody will understand that it's you, it would like that. You only have deterring capability if people understand that Israel has retaliated in such a way. If you retaliate and people don't know that you retaliate, why even retaliate, right? So when it comes to, either this was an accident, or if it was done on purpose by somebody, the most likely people behind it would be the people behind the supreme leader. Like, this was done by the supreme leader or his son, right? And if it's done by the supreme leader or her son, there's two theories for why he did that. Raisi was too much of so good of a puppet for Khamenei. So unlike all the other presidents, he said and then everything that Khamenei wanted, right? So people are like, why eliminate such a person that is just listens to everything? Almost every single other president at some point they turned on Khamenei. Like even Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, which was celebrated by Khamenei so much, he turned on Khamenei, and Khamenei had to eliminate them in such a way. But why would you eliminate somebody that is so loyal and doesn't do anything unless it's approved by you? Well, the problem is that he was a bit too loyal, right? And given that this person just does everything you tell him, he was such a good candidate for the IRGC as somebody, because the understanding is after Khamenei dies, there's going to be a major shift in power from the mullahs to the military, to the Sepah, to IRGC,
To
right?
the deep state.
Yeah, to the people from the people with the turbans to the people with the guns. There's going to be a shift in power from Beit Rahbari to Sepah, means from the house of the supreme leader to IRGC, right? So the IRGC would want the next supreme. The understanding is that IRGC will want the next supreme leader to be an inconsequential supreme leader that is just does whatever is told. So it just becomes a symbol. So the office of the supreme leadership just becomes a symbolic unit rather than a unit that actually makes any meaningful decisions, so that the IRGC has all the power. And Raisi was such a good candidate for that. And the understanding is that if Khamenei wants his son, Mujtaba Khamenei, to be the supreme leader, he would have to take Raisi out, so to take that option away from Sepah. The other theory is that theory is Persian for theory. The other theory is that Khamenei always wants the president to eventually to turn on the president at some point and make them to hurt because the Khamenei doesn't believe in the presidency, and he also always flirted with the idea to remove the presidency entirely, right? He flirted with that idea, but he wants. So some people suggest that he wants the president at some point to be destroyed, and for him to find an excuse to turn on the president and destroy whatever president was at the office for people to turn against him. But the problem with Raisi was that he was so loyal that he didn't have any excuses to turn on him at some point, so he had to take him out. That's another theory. I'm not saying any of these theories are good, but I'm just telling you what the theories are. Another theory is that Raisi was just doing such a poor job that he just had to be removed, because he was just
real embarrassing.
He was so embarrassing. He couldn't even speak Farsi properly. He was talking like he doesn't know basic math. Sometimes, like, you know how a lot of people make fun of Biden speaking? Imagine that, but 10 times worse.
He is,
and that was
so much worse.
He was so much worse than like when Biden is speaking. And Khamenei didn't like how embarrassing he was. And he didn't even want him to go through a second round of elections for him, because Khamenei famously wants every president to have 2 terms. He doesn't want a single president to have 1 term, because that would show that people are unhappy. Because that would show that people are unhappy with the government. So even presidents that he doesn't like, Khamenei is famous for this. Even presidents that he doesn't like, he wants them to have 2 terms, because the signal is to the world that people are happy with how things are run, right? So he didn't want Raisi to be this embarrassing for Iran, and he didn't want Raisi to have 1 term only, because everybody was now against him. Reformer, hardliner, Barandos, everybody was against him. And he just found it, and he was just being so bad that he thought that he might want to take him out. So these are the 3 working theories right now. I don't know which one of them is true. I don't even know how to calculate the probability of all these things. There's just too many unknowns and too many things happening behind the scenes that I'm just like going to say, I don't know what's happening, right? It could have been just an accident. It's just weird. I mean, I know, like, that out of the 3 helicopters,
No,
the
but
one
we
that
didn't
goes
even
down.
talk about how there was the helicopter that was flying before them that said that the weather conditions were fine.
Oh,
And that there was the one
Yes.
dude who survived for a little while
Yes.
enough to get on
I
the
don't know.
radio. What
No,
did he
not
tell
radio,
them on
the
the radio?
telephone. So the person that was behind the helicopter behind, he said that actually the weather was completely fine. And he also mentioned that I called the telephone of the pilot of the helicopter, and when we lost the helicopter, and the mullah, one of the mullahs, one of the main mullah who was a significant mullah. Okay, I'm not going to say what he is, right? And in the helicopter that Raisi was on answered, and they like after the crash, and he was like, where are you? He answered, I'm in the middle of the trees. And then they're like, what happened? And he's like, I don't know. And it's like, is everyone else alive? And he said, I don't know, I don't see them. And he said that on Iranian national TV that he talked to the guy. So now they all went gone radio silent. So the regime is telling them not to say anything anymore. But this just brings up so many questions. Is this man telling the truth? And if not, why would he lying about something like this? If he's telling the truth, why would he have the phone of the pilot in his hand? And if he has the phone of the pilot in his hand, how come he's not seeing the other people? If he was alive to be able to talk, how did he die eventually? Because everybody died. So how is he dead? Because he was well enough to talk on the phone. If they could call his phone, how did they not find them? Because the phone was giving a signal. You should be able to find the location. They couldn't find them for 16 hours. So they came up with an explanation from what?
Sorry. They asked the US to help
Oh yeah, they asked
find
you.
him.
Yes. So the Iranian regime at some point asked Turkey to help, and then they asked the EU to help, and they were so desperate at some point they were going 16 hours looking for the president. 16 hours that they asked the United States of America to come find our president. That's what the Iranian regime did. They asked help for the American regime. That was insane. So like,
it would have been really bad if they went and asked the Israelis.
We have a missing president.
Okay, Israelis, Mossad, we know you tracking this dude. Can you help us find him?
Right, that was the most embarrassing part. Oh my
god. This is like if we lost Biden on his way to go to the breakfast hall. It was like, North Korea, can you help us find Mr. Biden? He took a wrong turn while going to go eat his oatmeal. And we can't find the president.
Okay, so what we're watching here is a series, like the latest in a series of videos. So this is every time somebody dies, these people add another video of Khomeini. So Khomeini was the first supreme leader in Iran. So based on these series of videos, the understanding that he's in hell, and every time an official of the Iranian regime dies, they make a new video of them going to hell as and meeting Khomeini there, right?
This is so funny. From the tiny bit of Persian I know, I understood. It was so funny. So I'm excited to get the full translation.
Should we watch the entire thing and then I translate, or should I translate line by line?
No, we should translate as we go.
As we go. Oh, by the way, the first joke I remember, as soon as the helicopter went missing, I remember the first, because Raisi is famous for being stupid and uneducated. So the first joke I remember was Raisi said, like the people say that the reason helicopter went down is that Raisi said, like, it's so cold that I turned off the fan in front of our head. I had to turn it off because it was too cold. And that's how the helicopter went down. So, So let's watch this one.
کجا گیر کرده این ابرام کرباز
Like where has Abram means Abraham because that's his first name. Like where is this donkey with this goat Abraham? Where is he stuck now? So now they enter hell. So the people that enter hell is now Raisi and Abdullahian, which is the foreign minister. Oh yeah, okay.
امام ما اومدیم شما نهار خوردید ابرام
So it says Imam, meaning Imam Khomeini. So we are here now. Have you had lunch? So Raisi is famous for saying, like, it was bizarre because somewhere at the middle of a speech, he was just asking people if they had lunch. And now every time people make fun of him for that, for some weird reason. Like, why is he always so concerned with people having lunch or not? There was a joke about like the bears and wolves in the forest coming out into the city, and like there's a crazy man in the forest now asking us if we had lunch. So anyway, it's an ongoing joke. Raisi just showed up in hell and is asking Imam Khomeini if he had lunch.
چونی تصدیق کلاس شیشم تا تصدیق کلاس شیشم تا گرفتی امام
Okay, so Khomeini is asking him if he has if he finally finished 6th grade because he is famous because Raisi is famous for only passing 6th grade, like elementary school to grade 6, and not having any educations beyond that. And Khomeini is asking him
نه
about that.
درسمو تونستم تموم کنم نه رئیس جمهوریمو لکن
So he says, like, I wasn't able to finish my studies. I wasn't even able to finish my presidency. So now Raisi is famous for always being a quitter. So he didn't finish school. He didn't finish being the head of the judiciary branch, right? Because he was the what is it called? Divan Ali. The Supreme Court. He was the head of the Supreme Court of Iran, but he quit that to become the president. So it's like he died and he didn't finish his presidency either. So he never finished anything. Like who's that man behind you? Oh, so this is the Iran Abdullahian. He was in the helicopter as well. He's dead. He's Iran's foreign minister, and he's embarrassingly bad at English. And people were
so funny.
He's so bad at English, and people were like, why do you keep insisting in speaking English if you're so bad at it? Just let other people translate for you. And a lot of Iranians feel so embarrassed that he was the foreign minister and he was going everywhere around speaking in broken English. So
because Iranians take their English speaking so seriously. All of my friends who are Iranian take it, they're perfectionists about speaking English. That's my experience. I mean, I'm always like, you guys speak great English. What are you talking about? Like,
no, I mean, like a lot of them, don't speak good English, but it's seen, if you have bad English, it's seen as a sign of being uneducated. So a lot of people who are not good in English, they're embarrassed, like they're obsessed with making it perfect. So they're not seen as uneducated, right? So, but the foreign minister English, his English was really, really poor, which is like, as a foreign minister, you have to know your English. Your English has to be good. So.
رئیس جمهوریمو لکن اون درازه کیه Hello Imam, we are welcome to hell. لکن الهی بری زیر گل اینجا چه غلطی میکنید این هلیکوپتر چیه اینجا امام آنگوزمان شدیم.
So these are some internal jokes that I don't know how to translate into English. So I'm just going to translate the parts that are transferable to English because you have to know so much context for some of these jokes.
امام آنگوزمان شدیم رفت.
Can you speak English, Mr. Imam? Where is Qasim?
Where is Qasim? Where is Qasim? He's asking Qasim Soleimani.
Can shut up. Qasim داره. Shut up. قاسم داره کتلت شامو گرم میکنه.
Oh, Qasim is like, shut up. Qasim is preparing cutlet for dinner. So.
امام چرا تو دیگ نشستی؟ مسکن نداری؟ میخوای 1 میلیون مسکن بسازم برات؟
Okay. This is good. He's like, oh, Imam, why are you sitting in a pot? Do you not have a home? Do you not have a house? Do you want me to build you 1 million houses? Because Raisi famously promised building millions and millions of residents like houses, and it was such an insane promise that everybody knew that it would not be. He just promised during his presidency he would just come and build millions of houses, and that never happened. And people knew that would never happen because it was an insane promise. So he's wondering, why does Imam Khomeini, why is he sitting in a pot? And if he doesn't have a house, he could build him one.
خفه تو از کی تا حالا مسکن ساز شدی تو اعدام می‌کردی که
He's like, shut up. Since when are you into real estate? You were in charge of executions, not like real estate. Like, so during Khomeini's time, Raisi was in charge of, he was in the death council and he was in charge of killing so many people. Like, so after how come your responsibility has changed since I've died?
امام یادش بخیر اولین طنابو خودت به دستم دادی میگم اینجا کسی نیست.
Okay, so now Raisi is saying like, oh my God, those good old days, happy memories. I remember you gave me the first news. You put the first news in my hand yourself. Like, and now he's saying like, is there anyone here that we could execute?
دادی میگم اینجا کسی نیست اعدامش کنیم جانتو بیا دستگرمی چند تا حکم صادر کنیم.
And like, please come. Just for fun, let's have some rulings. Like, are there any people here that we could execute? Let's just for the good old days, just for fun, let's come pass some rulings here together.
خیلی خرید سید علی تو چرا باهاش نیامد.
Okay, so this one doesn't have the complete video, because here Khomeini tells him that we're in a place now that we don't give rulings. They give rulings on us. We don't have the capacity to give rulings anymore. So this is not the complete. So now he's calling Khamenei and he's asking why Khamenei didn't come with him.
تو چرا باهاش نیامدی لکن اونجا چه غلطی میخوای بکنی بلند شو بیا اینجا.
Like, Khamenei, what the F are you doing there? Come here.
قاسم کتلت هست محسن آملت هست ابرام سوهاری هست.
So he says we're all here. Qasem Kotlet, Mohsen Omelet. Now they all have their names.
یه سید علی شیر برنج مونده که سفرمان تکمیل بشه.
So every one of them is getting a name of a food, like Qasem with kotlets and Mohsen with omelette, and every one of them is getting a name. And he gave another food for Ali Khamenei. He said, like, our dinner night will be complete if you show up as well. We will have all the food.
امام دیگه اینجا و اونجا واسه من فرقی نداره.
Khamenei is saying like, dear Imam, here and there there's no difference between here and there anymore. Basically saying it's hell here on earth.
جفتش جهنمه.
He's crying.
امام دارن میان.
Oh, that's the sound of the people coming to his house. So like, oh, Imam, they're coming for me. So this is like kind of looking forward to what will happen. So yeah, that was that. Like, Imam, he's like, Imam, they're coming for me. So he's saying that you could see the sound of explosions and the sound of the people coming for him.
Man,
So,
oh my God.
foreshadowing a revolution.
Yeah. I love the impersonation of the voices too.
Yeah, it sounds pretty.
Yeah, the way they do
A lot of
Khamenei's voice and his like crying is so perfect.
Yeah, there was a. Hold on, if I could find it. Yes, there's so many impersonation of Raisi's sound and people making fun of him. There were recordings of him in the forest, calling people, asking for, saying, "I'm fine."
Oh
and just
yeah, you
eating
sent that to me.
Yeah, do I have
like
that?
memes
That
of
was so good.
the phone calls he sent asking for help. Oh my God. One thing that I just wanted to touch on before we finish today is like the reactions from the international community. And I just wanted your take on it because we saw.
Oh yeah, what's up with you guys? You guys,
the United Nations like give a moment of silence or whatever, like honoring Raisi. And then for a certain extent, like there are certain nation states where, you know, they give their apologies and that's like completely expected, blah, blah, blah. But then when
Right.
the US did it, that was a little bit of a shit show. And there's been a giant reaction to that. So I just wanted kind of your take on it, because especially with the United Nations, not that I expect much of anything from the United Nations nowadays, to be completely honest. It just seeing, I don't know, even going through the ritual of honoring this man, I think is so evil and despicable. And it's such a slap in the face of the Iranian people. And also just from an American perspective, like the Democrats are doing such irreparable harm to their reputation in the Iranian community. It's like a joke at this point. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
No, I mean, everything you said, plus a lot of Iranian people were so angry. Like
justifiably.
The United Nations doing its thing. Iranian people already expect the United Nations to be sympathetic to the Iranian regime. The EU doing that was also horrible, but a lot of Iranian people didn't expect much from the EU anyways.
Yeah.
But then when the American foreign minister came out and gave their condolences for Raisi's death, a lot of Iranian people were so angry. They couldn't believe, they could believe, but this is why a lot of Iranians were also against the Democrats all the time. This is why so many Iranians would welcome Trump winning the elections, because they have come to believe that the Democrats are too weak when it comes and too friendly with the regime that is oppressing them. Like, imagine going through all of the killings and the RAPE and the torture and the oppression of Iranian people, and the United States all during the master revolution, the American regime pretending like they decide on the people, that they condemn this regime. But then when Raisi dies, the United States comes and officially sends a message of condolences towards who? Raisi, who is one of the biggest criminals.
Murderer.
Like he was responsible for the executions of thousands of people simply because of political dissent, with no court proceeding. Like we're talking about 1980s executions. These were thousands of people who were executed without even a day in court, without any lawyers, not based on any crimes, only based on not being loyal to the regime. This is one of the most forgotten mass executions of in modern history. And Raisi was responsible for that. He was in charge of that. And the United States is now sending a message of condolences to the Iranian regime for his death. Like, what is the message you're sending to the Iranian people when you do that? It was absolutely unbelievable. Like, the level of anger and disappointment from Iranian people was huge. It was
irreparable damage. Really irreparable damage.
Yes.
But then didn't they come out and like give an explanation for like how they did it? They tried to like paint it off being like, oh, it's not what it looks like. But well, can you explain that?
I mean, they gave condolences anyway. So they came out and said, like, listen, we always do this, right? We always do this with every country, even countries who we're not friendly with. And they tried to say, look, nobody important said that. Like, the president didn't say that. It was just the foreign minister. But
yeah, they basically say, like, we kicked it as low down the totem pole as we can go. And they were the one to issue the condolences to like show that it's not coming from the office of the president, that it's, but that doesn't matter to people, frankly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to people. And like, just giving condolences to the person that mass executed a lot of Iranian people, and right after the mass revolution, when you said you just said, that's what people see. Like, even you say this is protocol, but Israel didn't Israel didn't send any condolences, and Israel was like, Israel came out with a message of sharing the happiness of Iranian people, right? So you can see if Israel did that, then you could show that you don't have to follow protocol. When Israel came out and said that we celebrate Iranian people's happiness at this moment, you're showing that their countries can have a different narrative, right? And by the way, this is why Iranian people love Israel. Is because they're so anti-Iranian regime, unlike any other country. Like if Iranian people are looking for a country to love, they look at United States and they get disappointed. They look at Europe and they get disappointed, and they look at Israel and they see such aggressive position against the regime, and they're like, yeah, that's what we want. That's what we
unapologetic. Unapologetic.
Yes, that's our ally. That's our ally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was at a conference in Washington, D.C. recently, and there was a private dinner where John Bolton was speaking. And I was not expecting to agree with John Bolton as much as I did. And he was basically saying, he was in his speech, he was talking heavily, very specifically about Iran. And he was saying the position that the United States should have towards the Iranian regime, and this has been our mistake for over 40 years now, is the position should be regime change in Iran. We should stop pretending like we could ever be diplomatic enough for them to act like a normal functioning state. No, they're an aberrant state. It's part of the thesis. It's part of the, and what was so interesting, Armin, I don't think I told you this, was that people were asking questions of him, and during this Q&A, someone just straight out came and said, "Okay, you think that we should have our position, or the position should be regime change? What does that mean in terms of operations? Do you mean CIA?" Meanwhile, I'm sitting there, I'm like, do people just say this out loud in DC? What the hell? And he was literally like, no, we don't need to do that at all. We just need to stop validating their murderers, and the Iranian people will take care of the rest.
That's a good answer, actually.
And I'm I didn't think if Warhawk John Bolton is like, no, we just need to get out of their way.
Yes, and that's what they run. And that's
like, what John Bolton, famous for regime change things, is literally like, no, we literally don't need to involve the CIA. Just get the fuck out of the way. I was like, damn.
And that's what a lot of Iranian people are asking for. They're not asking for United States to come and invade and do regime change for them. They're just like, just get out of our way. Stop supporting our murderers. Because if you stop supporting them, if you just don't let them, sell their oil and send their gas, and stop with this policy of appeasement, because you're making them strong enough for us to be difficult for us to remove them. Just get. If you're not going to help, at least just get out of the freaking way.
Yeah,
that's what they're asking.
I strongly, based on the information I have right now, I strongly support the maximum pressure policies, because we've been in an era of appeasement, and we can see what it means to people domestically. And literally, you can see, because we have all these enforced sanctions and stuff on the books, but it actually takes teeth to enforce them. We haven't.
No, they're not being enforced. They're on purpose. The Biden administration. So we have sanctions on the books, but the Biden administration is not enforcing them on purpose.
Exactly.
Right? So Iranian regime is selling a lot of its oil through Malaysia to China, right? And the United States knows that and is letting it happen on purpose because of the price of oil, for the price of oil not to get too high.
And what do we see in response? It's literally like a perfect graph where it's like you see the number of executions happening domestically to the Iranian people almost perfectly correlate, just skyrocket to historic levels of domestic executions. I'm full maximum pressure all the way. Yeah. Because that's my understanding at this moment. And it's just very, very upsetting. It's very, very upsetting.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, guys, do not forget to like the stream. Do not forget to share the stream. Do not forget to subscribe to Atheist Republic on YouTube. The reason why I say on YouTube, because a lot of people are watching this from other places. Make sure, wow, 570 people are watching this on Twitter. Guys,
Oh my
make sure you
God, come
show
over
up
to YouTube where you can interact with us
Come
in the
to-
live chat. Come on, come
Guys,
subscribe.
you could come to YouTube. You could interact with us on the live chat. Okay, it's much more fun here. Come from Twitter to YouTube, and recommend our channel, Atheist Republic YouTube channel. Recommend that to your friends and your enemies everywhere. Okay, make sure that we get this channel growing. The channel is growing faster than before, so that's really good.
Oh, and
but
we
it's
actually
because
have a
of you
super
guys.
chat. I almost forgot.
Oh, we did.
Yusuf
yeah.
Dumpy
Okay,
gave
good.
a super chat saying, "Let's play Celebration" by Kool and the Gang. Great song, but we don't want a copyright strike, so we will not be playing that song. But that's a recommendation for
Yes,
anyone
just
else that
imagine it.
wants to celebrate.
Just,
And Ion is saying, "Susie, you need to turn down your brightness. You are so bright. Literally, it's just sunlight, and I am so freaking white." I am so freaking pale that the sunlight bouncing off my skin is throwing off the brightness and contrast from my camera. That's how freaking pale I am. This is a hashtag white people problems.
You're gonna get sunburn from your computer screen.
Yo, honestly.
That's how
It's the nur. The light of Shaitan shines through you. Oh my God.
that's so sweet.
I hope so.
Suzanne is saying liked already. Thank you, Suzanne. People, thank you. Do the liking. It's free. It's free, and it helps us.
I had a lot of fun
I
today,
should get-
Armin. I'm excited for next week already.
Yes, me too. Yeah. Oh yeah, we have to do that London thing, guys. Make sure you subscribe and hit the
Yes.
bell notification so that YouTube tells you when we're going live. Because
Yo,
next week
we have a lot
we're
of
gonna cover
Islamists to expose in London. So tune in
Ooh,
next week.
Okay.
Because we got to
Tune in
dig
next week.
into some
All right, guys.
freaking crazy psycho Islamists kicking women on the sidewalk in London.
Oh my God! What the hell? Okay.
You didn't see that?
All right, guys.
They're like pushing women on the ground, kicking them.
Oh, the same event. You're talking about the Islamic Republic people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna dig into that next week.
Because when you say Islamists, I think about like the Sunni Pakistani people in London. I don't, for some reason, I consider the Islamic Republic's people like their own entity. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't mix them with
also Islamists.
I know, but they're just so unique that I don't mix it with other people. I just call it like their own separate entity. Anyways,
A lot of those people are like Shia Pakistanis.
Yes, but they're Shia. Okay, I'll explain that later.
Okay, okay, guys, tune in next week. We have a lot to dig into.
All right, guys. Bye.